you know, we all kind of like down, you're out, you're crying and everything. And the Lord, He's like, you're bent but not broken. And it hit me hard, you know, because I always write. It was part of my therapy. Like I had with my husband years ago. I have twins. So I was a single parent with twins, and they were 2.5 years old. And I've been through some stuff. But you know, throughout life, I realized when I got that title, Bent But Not Broken, I looked back and I said, oh yes, I'm bent, but I'm not broken. So as long as you're not broken, you can still go on, you know? So that's why I say we're that palm tree. We're going to keep being bent, but we're not going to be broken. We're not broken. We're going forward, right? So I want everyone just to know, you know, you can make it. I'm like, oh my God, it's the same thing. But you know, it's nothing wrong with repeating the same thing over and over again, because a lot of times we gotta get it in our head. That's why even like sometimes, you know, even if you go to church or even you read a certain scripture over and over again, it's because depending on what you're going through at that moment, you may get something different out of it. So it's okay to hear different things from people. And one thing, as women, you know, we have to, as I say, you got to speak it into existence. And I believe when you wake up in the morning, exactly, you look in the mirror and you tell yourself you're beautiful. You tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to make it today. There's nothing going to stop me today. And you know, because the worst thing you can ever do is say something negative about yourself. It's one thing that if you say something bad about me, I can push it off. But if I start to say something bad about myself, the mind is going to take it in. And the mind is going to say, yes, you're weak, you're this, you're depressed, you're this. You know, and this is how we fall into these depression, because unfortunately we begin to tell ourselves, and you know, it takes over. So what we have to do, we got to shake that off. We gotta, yeah, exactly. We gotta shake it off. We seriously gotta shake it off. You know, wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you say, no matter what I'm gonna face today, it's me and you, Lord, or whoever you know, you're not in this fight by yourself. You see how we're all here together? We're here together. Never feel you're by yourself. I always say, if you could have even one friend, you know, network with one person and even encourage them each day. Say, you know what, you're beautiful. Yeah, you're beautiful too. When I post on Facebook and things like that, I encourage people. It's not about this and that. I want you to be, you know, somehow just post, did you smile today? I want you to go look in that mirror, make a funny face, and smile. You know, say, I am beautiful, I am powerful, and I can make it today. Because too many times, as you say, so much negativity is around us. And it takes control of our lives, you know, and many times you like, you know, like if you have a problem at work, you have a problem at home, you have a problem there, you're like, oh my God. You know, you feel really down and out. And you're like, can I really do this? Yes. I'm here to say, yes, you can. Even when 2018 came in, I lost my mom last year and everything. So, you know, it's not easy. I lost so many people like throughout my life. But sometimes you say, Lord, why? You know, they say, woman, you know, we're going to keep bearing it and we're going to keep moving forward. But, you know, for 2018, I did a YouTube and it said, we're not giving up this year. This year, you're not giving up. No matter what you faced last year and all those other years, this year is going to be different. Why? Because you're going to say it's going to be different and you're going to make it different. You know, what you did last year that didn't work last year, you change things around and you make it work this year. And simply by saying, I'm going to make it work. You know, some of us, all of us, no, as you say, we're entrepreneurs, and you know, sometimes we get a little scared and say, can I really do that? Can I really talk? Because I'm a shy person. Believe it or not, I am a shy person. But you know something, when you have a passion about something and something is real to you, you can talk about it. And we all have that here. Like if anyone go and talk to someone and say, what have you been through? After you start talking, you're like, yeah, you know, I had this health issue, I had this, but I'm here. You know, you start to like build up yourself and build up yourself. You know, just like how you were saying about your son and his birthday cake, that just touched me. Because you know something, she was determined that she had to get this birthday cake for her son, no matter what. You know, and that's something when we have have our children, it's like we fight for them. You know, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna make sure they get what they want. You don't want them to be disappointed. And she pushed, and look at her today. That's a blessing right there, you know. And I love that her t-shirts represent her children. You know, that is so powerful. And she, you know, I like it. Because when she was saying it, I was like, that is so true.
I'll take that.
You know,
My mouth
our
is dry.
children, and that's why, you know, this morning I was just thinking, it's good when you have people that can support you. Like my daughter's here, I was like, come on, you're my supporter, you're my assistant, you're my thing. But if you have family members, or even as I said, that one person to support you along this struggle, because it's a struggle, let's face it. It's not easy doing your own business. It's not easy. As you know, there's going to be sometimes no one may buy none of your products. You go home, okay, this is the way you came, but you know what? You came and you heard something, you saw someone, maybe you networked with one person and it made a difference. You know, so never think that it's a waste of time. Life is never a waste of time. Only if you make it a waste of time, it's a waste of time. But us being here today, it's not a waste of time. You know, as I said, if none of us sold anything today, we heard something from these two ladies, never mind me, but from these two ladies that inspire you. I got inspired from your story. You know, something as simple as that, as just talking about, you know, her son needed this cake. To me, I'm just like, I'm just picturing it, you know, I don't know what the cake looked like, you know, but, because I'm not like, you know, I remember even when my daughter had made me a cake, and it was from the heart and everything. They were younger, and it was a little slanted, but the thing is, you know, it came from the heart, and that was the most beautiful thing to me. I like posted it all over the place. My cake, you know, said happy birthday, mom. But it was just that thing there, you know, and it will push you more and more, and we all need to push each other more and more. As I say, you're going to take away that negativity. We're all brothers and sisters in there. And one thing we need to do, remove the jealousy. No one should be jealous of no one. If one person is getting all the sales and you get nothing, say thank God for that person. You know, and next time it's going to be your time. If it's not now, it's going to be next time. But let's build up each other. You know, I was at another event and I was saying, you know something? All right, when I'm having something, if I'm going to something, let me call you and say, hey, you want to come? You know something? You could network together. You could share a table together just to get out there. You know? It's a blessing, you know, we have to work together. Let's not look at each other like, oh, I'm in competition with her. I'm in competition, you know? Because we all have that special gift in each other. You know, there's like two writers here, but our stories are a little bit different. All of it is still like the same. But at the same time, you know, everyone is different. Like, if I went through something and you went through the same thing, it doesn't mean that you really understand how I feel. But we all experience things differently, you know? So, let me try to recoup back. I'm sorry. Okay. Because sometimes I can talk too much, and I apologize, you know. I get excited, you know, because I'm all about us just, you know, cheering each other on, and I just want us not to feel negative about anything, and never tell yourself you can't. I even remember when my mom, she had to go back to school she was back in those days what it was called. It was like a nursing assistant, but then they had to go up to a different level, and she had to go back to school. And she was like, oh my God, how am I going to go back to school? You know, I'm going to soon retire, but she had to go back to school. I said, Mom, let me tell you something. Don't say you can't do it. You can do it. And that's, you know, she was bringing in 90s and passing the course. She was like, no, I pass. And I said, that's right. So today, whatever you do, don't tell yourself you can't do something. You make sure and say, I can do it. I will do it. And you get it done. You get it done. And I said 2018, there's no room for failure. And as you was mentioning, sometimes you got to put people to the side. You gotta put them to the side because you gotta be careful. Sometimes who you tell your plans to, not everyone, we probably all experienced that. You're gonna tell your plans to somebody and they're gonna say yes, they understand, but in the end they really don't. Instead of pushing you to that next level, they may try to drag you down. I had that, my book was supposed to be out, it came out in 2016, but it was supposed to be out before that. I was like, it was gonna be, oh no, I'm gonna help you edit. I said, okay. Yeah, but look at it. I said, wow. You know, and then there's another business I wanted to get started, and I said, you know because I'm an accountant, and I was seeing some bills like, why we can't do a cleaning business? You know? And I was getting a friend of mine, she wasn't working. I said, listen, just do this little research, we're gonna get this cleaning business together. We can do this. Okay, then. Is the cleaning business together? No. There's some people that don't have the drive. And you have to be careful who you're connecting with, because they will stop your goals from going anywhere. You will not get anywhere. And then later on in life, you're like, wait, it's when I get there later, and nothing happened. And you see this, some people, they're like, that's why even I tell my kids, be careful. You gotta be careful of your goals, and you share things with people, and then they're like, no, you can't do that. What are you talking about? You're gonna do this? Yes, I'm gonna do this. No, start to say yes. You're either with me or you're against me. And guess what? If you're against me, you're behind me. You understand what I'm saying? And you gotta move forward. Sometimes we gotta stand on our own. And it's scary standing on your own. But guess what? Right now we're in here. Say we're always standing on our own. We have new friends now. So you're not standing alone. You're not standing alone. You know, this is why it's good to network. Because you're not standing alone. When you thought you was in a situation by yourself and no one understood, there's probably at least one person here saying, meeting someone, oh wow, say, when you go to the event, can I tag along? Sure, by all means. When you go to the event, can I tag along? You know, and that's how it starts. That's how it starts. So again, I just want you to see who's in your circle. Who's that person that you say, guess what, I'm going to this event, and they're saying, well, that's a waste of time. We know there's some people that are saying that. Or there's going to be someone you're going to come out home, do you sell anything? And you're going to say, no, I didn't have no sale. Oh, I sold two things. And they say, well, I knew it. Let's face it, there's people out there that's going to say, but that's the person that the next time you have an event, you don't say nothing. You don't say nothing. You go about your way, and after you come back, you will say, guess what? I sold 10 this, 10 that, and let them stay there. Those negative vibes can be thrown on you. And instead of coming here with a cheerful spirit, you're in the back of your mind, the night is almost over, and you're like, no one bought my thing. What so-and-so said is right. And then you don't even realize you're not smiling, you're not encouraging people, because that vibe is going off on your customer. Instead of having a smile and saying, oh yeah, you want my book, you want this, you're like, oh, you want my book. And your mind, you don't even realize you're doing that. You're probably like, and you see yourself, you want my book, but deep down inside, you already said it, you want my book. Because what was told to you is still in the back of your head.
What's up, man? I don't know if y'all can hear me. I want y'all to hear this message, you know what I mean?
That's why, no matter what someone tells you, you tell yourself, I can make it. You come out here and say, yes, I'm going to sell a book. When I left home, I said, I'm selling all my book. It may not happen, but that's okay. I said it. You understand? And what we said, speak achieve. So every time you go, you're like, I'm going to sell, I'm going to sell, I'm going to. And as I say, you make one friend that you connect with, because you have to go on the same page as you. And that's a very important thing. Be on the same page. You got to know who's on the page with you. If you know what, says about books, turn that page and keep on going. You know, go to the next chapter, but know who's with you. Because it's important. In order for us to move up in the community, we got to come together. That's why the other cultures, that's why they're making it. Let's be honest. They stick together. Years ago, me and my husband, we had a fruit store. Fruits and vegetables. I used to sell acorns and different products. When our own people will come, they will squeeze up our fruit. Hello, when you go to the Korean store, do you feel up the fruit there? You feel it up, but you still buy it. You come down to your own people, you feel up the fruit. Oh, this don't look good. Oh, $4 for $1. I want 5. You give them. You know, it's like they always want. Instead of us encourage, it's like, oh, the other one. If you $4 for this orange, you're not gonna say, can I have an extra orange? You're not gonna say it. But now you come to my store. $4 for $1. Can I have 5? And never mind. I'm gonna say, okay, I'll give you. Maybe 6. You know, it's a sad situation, but unfortunately, this is what we do. You imagine if we start building up each other, what would happen? We would go so far. We would so far. If we stop all the jealousy and just build. So, 2018 for jealousy time. 2018, focus on your goals. You know what your goals are, go forward. In the mirror, you in the shower, wherever, you say your praise and everything, and you say something positive about yourself. Even if you're going to say, you know what? Hey, you're going to make it today. No matter what anyone says, you're going to make it today. You're going to make sure you smile today. And that what? And just try it. Just try it. No matter what you're going through, every morning, just wake up and say something positive about yourself. It could be anything, but and when you come home, say, yes, I made it. And then, after your prayer, go to bed. Yes, I made it. And tomorrow do the same thing. But encourage yourself. Go forward, because so much is going on. So much is going on. And I believe if the young people could hear encouraging words, they won't have to go to the gang. They won't have to go. A lot of the violence we're seeing outside is from anger and stress, and no one knows how to release it. There's a chapter, even the first one in my book. I said, men, since there's men in here, you can cry too. And I believe, we grow up, I have a son, and I tell him that, don't always say, oh, you're not a man if you cry. I don't know where that theory came from. But let me tell you something. It's not all about gender. We're all human. And the thing is, if you have something built up in you, you have to release it. That's why I say tears, cry if you have to cry. Tears is about purging. You're purging out your system. And you have to let out these feelings somehow, somewhere. It's not a sign of weakness. So don't think because you shed tears, you're weak. That is quite the opposite. You're releasing these toxins in you that are building up. If you don't release them, they're going to end up, you're going to lash out on people. And the thing is, unfortunately, stress is killing a lot of us. It's the fact.
Give us one good charge.
When you finish, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
We'll say it together.
And it's going to be, you're bent but not broken. That's the biggest charge, because if you really stop and you think about those words, you realize you all been through something and you're still standing.
So we can repeat it.
Yes, but let me read one poem. I'm sorry. I apologize if I talk too much. It happens sometimes. I'm going to just read one poem and then we'll go through. Okay. It was called What's Behind My Smile? You see the smile, but deep down she feels she could die. You see the push to achieve, but she didn't see all those that pulled her back, that's keeping her from those she trusts. You see a tissue and say it's a cold, when in fact it's tears. Stand strong, at least that's what you see, while she crumbles inside saying, Lord, help me. You overlook her struggles and say she's all together, but all she needs is that time and security to stand. She watches all and try not to fall. She strives because she hopes to survive. Although at times it seems impossible, she's still here with God. All things are possible. As night comes, she lay awake, wondering, is it too late? Is it too late to fight? Is it too late to pray? Is it too late to live? The thing is, we all do it. We smile, but there's so much behind that smile. We know how to fake the smile. And sometimes we can't share how we really feel, and no one knows what's going on inside of you. And unfortunately, this is where stress is building up, because you feel like no one understands you. But we have to learn somehow to get that out. We have to get it out. So one day I was going through something, and I just wrote these words down. I was even at work. Sometimes things just come to me at the random moment, and I just start writing. But then you read it back and you say, how many of us are hiding behind our smile? Because deep down inside, you're struggling with so many things you're fighting with daily. But today, as I said, we're going to tell ourselves we can make it, we're going to make it, and we're bent but not broken. So I want everyone just to say that, I'm bent but not broken.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, stepping right in. Yes. Calvin Darby is his name. He's a founder of The Truth. a longtime friend of my sister's and myself. And he came to one of my, like I was saying, my Ustream TV show that I had, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And we just basically had fun cracking up and just sharing words of wisdom and sharing our message. So, Calvin, please. This is an awesome, powerful, dynamic brother. He is a motivational speaker. And, you know,
No pressure. No pressure.
I always talk about the suits. Now, but anyway, I'm going to let you come on up. Very humble, powerful, strong brother. And could you share with the sisters who you are and the brothers what you do? Because maybe we have some awesome brothers in here that like to come to your event and share their input. And how can we, from the male's perspective, how can we, give us maybe 4 points, how can we empower ourselves?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Like I said, my name is Calvin Garvey, and it's really an honor and a privilege to be in front of, so many beautiful women and, very strong, handsome men. Eb, she put me on the spot. I was just coming to support because she always supports me, whether she's there, whether she's not. She always supports me and encourages me, with my forum. So I truly, truly, truly appreciate that because, like these young ladies said, we always need encouragement. I don't care how many things that we do. I don't care how strong we think we are. We always need encouragement because sometimes we'll doubt ourselves, before I even talk about, my forum, Eb, I know you want to do that, but, you mentioned something. You said activate your gift, and I think that's so powerful. One of the things I always tell people is to activate your faith. I'm always telling my mother that because, my mother recently lost her job and she was down and out. My mother's one of the strongest people I know. And to see her so low kind of bothered me, because my mom's is like strong. So I told my mother, I said, Mom, your faith is like a credit card. I don't care if you don't activate that credit card, it means nothing. All it is a piece of plastic in your pocket. But that credit card could have $20, $50, $100,000 on there. But if you don't activate it, it means absolutely nothing. So so your faith is the same exact thing. You have to activate your faith because it was given to us and we all have that. That's the one gift that we can all say that we have and that we can all, I don't care how strong you are, I don't care how gifted you are, the one thing we share is that we can all activate our faith and all it takes is effort. It really just takes effort to actually do that, so that's one of the things. And, the young lady also asked about coaching. And, one of the things that I believe is so powerful with coaching, same thing with this young lady, is that I always use metaphors as in the gym because, I love the gym. And not just to work out body-wise, but I think it's just really mental for me. And I think a lot of times many of us are emotionally constipated. And when we go to certain places like this, or I know for me, when I go to the gym, it's a detox because I can be so emotionally constipated, and I'm in the gym talking to myself. And I know people being there like, this man's crazy, leave him alone, don't talk to him, he seems like an angry black man, but I'm really not. but I'm really just in there, really just coaching myself and telling myself. And the funny thing, and the good thing about coaching is, I look at coaching as a spotter. Somebody in the gym that can spot you and tell you, can stand over you, because I know when I'm in the gym, I can lift a certain amount of weight. But if somebody's standing over me, telling me, come on, Calvin, you can do it. Come on, give me a little bit more. Come on, you can do it. Come on. When somebody's telling me that, I can lift a whole lot more than I think I can lift, because I have that spotter telling me, come on, Calvin, you can do it. And I may not have lifted a certain amount if I was by myself, because I'm scared that it may fall on me. But if I have that spotter telling me, don't you worry about it. If it gets too heavy, and that's the great thing about coaching, is because they can sit back and say, I got you. I was, I remember I went to Jamaica with this young lady one time, and we was on a plane, and my suitcase was it was like 35 pounds, and hers was over 50-something pounds. Right? And when it's over a certain amount, you got to pay for it. So in order to be able to not have her pay for it, she had to put her luggage and some of her clothes into my luggage. But as she was putting her clothes into my luggage became heavier. So now, in my head, I'm like, why am I carrying your stuff? Right? So now here's the funny part though. When I came back from Jamaica, I wanted to bring back a whole lot of stuff for people and everything. I was excited. I couldn't wait to bring my mother back stuff. But after I brought and bought stuff from Jamaica, my luggage became heavier. And then I had to carry that. I had to pay for that. And her luggage was under 50 pounds because her clothes was in my luggage. So I said that to say, so many people are carrying things, holding things from the past, and carrying other people's luggage, or carrying our own luggage. And a lot of times what happens is that when we try to get on that plane, and you know how a plane is, it takes off. And in order to take off and to go where you have to go sometimes, your luggage is too heavy. And sometimes you have to, don't carry other people's stuff. It's okay to help people, it really is. But they have to want it for themselves.
Yes.
A lot of times when I'm going to the gym and people are like, Calvin, help me go to the gym, go to the gym. I ask them two questions. How bad do you want it? And what are you willing to do to get it? Because the thing about it is that I could give them all the regimen in the world. I could tell them how to do it. I could tell them do this and do this. But if they don't want it for themselves, it means absolutely nothing. And the funny thing about it is they'll hold you back. Because as you're trying to sit there and help them, you're losing out on trying to do your regimen and the things that you need to do. So don't carry other people's luggage. Do not do that. You know, carry your own. And a lot of times we're already carrying our own baggages. So I'm always telling people, my luggage is like the plane. One carry-on. One carry-on. I'm not carrying yours. Carry your own luggage. Check it. See what's in there? Make sure there's nothing in there. You know, and carry your own luggage. And the last point that I actually wanted to make, I was watching this geographic thing, and I don't really watch those things. I really don't. I just happened to catch it. It's funny how God works. There was these hunters, and they were actually trying to catch these monkeys, right? And as they're trying to catch these wild, crazy monkeys, they put these nuts in like a bottle. And the monkeys, they couldn't catch these monkeys because they were too fast for them. So they put the nuts in the bottle, and they put a string around the bottle. And the monkeys put their hands in the bottle. And they couldn't pull the nuts out with the bottle, with their hands. So that's how the hunters was able to get them. So I said that to say that a lot of times we have to let things go. Because the reason why we get caught up with a whole lot of things is because we're not letting things go. You know, we're holding things, and we cannot go to the next level trying to carry certain things with us. God doesn't allow us to do that. It just doesn't go. In order to be able for us to elevate, we have to be able to handle things on this level. I was just telling my mom before I left the house, because she was going through it. And she was like, my mom, she can get angry sometimes. And she was like, I'm like, Mom, don't address people. Don't do it. Because sometimes that's their mission. That's their assignment, to actually frustrate you. And that's how the enemy gets you. There's two ways the enemies can get you: fear and frustration. Because when we're frustrated and we're scared, those are the things that stop us from going to the next level. It's hard for us to go to the next level when we're frustrated because we can't concentrate on the things that we need to concentrate on. And I said, and sometimes you have to eat what's on your plate. You can't go to the next level unless you can handle this. My mom wants to do her own business. I said, how you going to handle people on this level, at this level, if you can't even handle them at this level? They can frustrate you. I said, don't you know when people work for you? Oh, they're going to frustrate your spirit. Don't let people frustrate your spirit. Handle them on this level. Sometimes you just have to walk away from people. The young lady said it, energy. Oh my God, do I believe in that? Energy is so important. As I've gotten older, I understand how energy works. If it's not worth it, let it go. I always count up the cost. And I'll be like, if it ain't worth my peace, I'm gone. I'm gone. You know, don't let those things carry you over, and don't bring those things with you. Have a forum. It's a relationship forum. It's something that we do. We try to do it every twice a month, but we don't get a chance to do it. It's a forum that I do. It's called The Truth. It's a forum that I do in Brooklyn. Our slogan is, it's not a forum, but a lifestyle. You know, it's young men, young women, and we get in there and we just talk about relationships. We talk about relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but relationships in life, relationships that you have with yourself. Like these young ladies said, you know, you have to have that relationship with yourself. You know, the title for this next event, which is Saturday, April 28th, the title is The Pursuit of Common Ground. And the subtitle is Nothing Changes If Nothing Changes. You know, you have to change. You have to change. If you want change, sometimes you can't give the message. Sometimes you have to be the message a lot of times. You know, a lot of times I can't even lie. When I'm up there and I'm giving a speech and I'm sitting there and I'm talking, it's just something downloads in my spirit. I'm like, damn, that was for me.
Yep.
And sometimes I'll catch myself and I'm like, and people think I forgot what I'm saying, but I'm like, damn, I just received that. I just received that.
Right?
I'm thinking I'm giving it to somebody else, and I was like, oh no. This was for you. This was for you.
Yep.
So a lot of times what happens is that in order to get the change, you have to be the change. I always tell people, you got to be what you're looking for. You got to be what you're looking for. If you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking for success, if you're looking to achieve certain things, if you're looking for your kids to change, the people around you to change, you know, you have to be that person. And if you can't change the people around you, then change the people around you. You know, you have to.
I like that one.
You know, so I thank you for this opportunity to be up here, Ev. Thank you so much today.
Fire.
Interactive group for young men and women. Can they be older?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I call everybody young men and women. So, you know, because I think we're all young in the spirit. You know, so we're all young. It's only as young as you feel. So everybody's invited.
You see what I'm talking about? And you need to come to his event. Did you bring any flyers?
No, I'm sorry.
He didn't come to
Okay.
select.
April 28th.
April 28th at Rustic Tavern.
Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. And it's so nice to get the men's perspective. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you know, so I want to open up, maybe get some, we will get, you know, our sisters and brothers to share. I have a question. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to say one lesson that you've learned through your journey? What lesson you can say? Just one. What have you learned through your journey that we can, you know, hear about? You know, and maybe it can help somebody in the room. Do we have anybody who'd like to share?
So I'm going to bring some transparency to the atmosphere. It's a little longer than one lesson. So my backdrop is I started selling dope at 9 years old out of 5-gallon buckets in my mother's backyard. And my mother was my first client. I have been raped 5 different times in my life by 6 different men. At 23 years old, I was looking at 15 years in the feds, and I lost 3 kids behind that. And I've been pimped, and I've escorted women for profit. And when I was looking at that 15 years in the feds, it saved my life, it changed my life, and it gave me an opportunity to wash my mind, because I didn't know anything about God, I didn't know anything about consciousness, and the only guidance I'd ever had was when I had 3 probation officers and an ankle monitor at 12 years old, and I was mandated to go to AA and NA meetings, and I knew that at 40 I didn't want to be like them trying to find myself. So I was indoctrinated through Christianity, and the Bible was the savior that washed my mind, and that was because I cursed so much and I was so angry that those first verses that I came across was, let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth except for to bring grace and edification, something along those lines, except for the necessary edification to bring grace to the hearer. And I held on to that so hard that I wrote it over and over and over and over again on 4 different sheets of paper in the front and the back, and then my spirit began to yearn to learn more vocabulary, and I began to, and it enhanced my wordplay, but I also learned, be angry but sin not, and don't let the sun go down on the process that I began to learn a little later, because God is our vindicator, no matter what you believe. And if you believe in the Bible and the words and so on and so forth, I know that there was power in those words. And as I'm incarcerated, there were these 3 incidences where these ladies had tried me, but I saw their spirit change. And I'm still cursing, and I'm still evolving and changing myself, as you ever always will. But my mind said, be angry and sin not. And it was the craziest thing because I knew what I could do with my hands. And I'm in a hostile environment and I feel like I'm being punked. But I was like, something inside of me told me not to do it. And just like those 3 women in that 5-day time frame did what they did in a public manner, all 3 of them came back to me in a public manner in a moment's notice and apologized to me and cried on my shoulder. So my 15 years turned into 1 year because they didn't have enough evidence to build up against me. And I took my first offenders and now I have 3 felonies. But I only say that because you can never allow your background to determine where you are going. And I got out and I had this relationship with the internal self at that time I viewed as God and Jesus. But I didn't know how to live that lifestyle. The only thing I ever knew was organized crime, was the street hustle and getting dope in a very illegal way. I mean, getting money in a very illegal way. That's how I supported myself for many years. So I'm working 2 jobs and I'm going to school and I'm coming home and I'm drinking to numb from the pain of dealing with life's emotions. So I was like, okay, God, what do I do? It's something greater it has to be. So I took that leap of faith. And he opened up a door to introduce me to a platform of people that believed in me, that loved me way beyond my ability to love myself, and pushed me forward to learn new things. So now I've been out for 10 months, and a lady believed in me more than I could believe. No. I mean, this was in 2009. Wait. So at this point, I've been out for 10 months. A lady that believed in me more than I believed in myself put me over 13 different accounts as an accountant. And then within 2 years, I was moved into a corporate position of managing investment properties where the company believed in me so much that they spent more than 10 grand on me in less than 3 years to move me to convert investment properties to become what they were registered in a book value as $2.7 million per year. Is that what they obtained? But the company believed in me to the point when I told them 3 days on the job that I had 3 felonies, they said, I'll make it disappear. So you can't ever let where you come from determine where you are going in life. But I gave up that job. I resigned and people thought I was crazy because of my circle. And I said, you might not understand why I'm giving away $5,000 worth of brand new furniture and why I'm letting go of this job that gives me almost 6 figures a year, something I never had legit legal, to do something greater. But if you really love me, don't speak into my situation. And I didn't work for 9 months to write this autobiography. I jumped off that cliff, totaled my car, which would have been a $600 payment every single month. I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, God, I can't eat, I can't sleep, but I know you're going to work it out for my good. And then here I am today. I resigned from that position in September of 2016. I didn't work for 9 months. God gave me a coat. God gave me socks. He gave me everything I needed. I thought I was coming to Brooklyn for 3 months. And here I am. And the journey just gets greater and greater and greater. But the thing that sustained me the most is that I don't know anybody that's pioneered my vision. That mirror talk conversation is the thing that sustained me the most. I am the author over my life. I am the architect that chooses the tools and the design that is made up in my life. I am powerful, I am strong, I am worthy, and I am deserving. And sometimes that self-doubting belief that we have in our minds will have us sabotage something before it even has the ability to fully manifest. So I would have these conversations in the mirror en route somewhere. Or just my internal dialogue was, you are deserving. You can make it. You shall complete what you have begun. That is what I stand on. And there's many things that we have to let go. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for us. My father stole my innocence at 7 years old. And it distorted my life for the rest of my life because I separated myself from my emotions, because a young child cannot survive without the detachment. And hindsight is always 20/20 because you can turn around and look back and see why you are so emotionally unavailable now. And why I draw people into my life that are unemotional, that are unavailable emotionally, because that is what I was. And so that's what I project into my reality. Oftentimes what bothers us about other people is the same thing that we do ourselves. And so we have to mirror ourselves. Just as this queen said, her words of wisdom, as how we are all interconnected with each other. So what you put out is what you get back. When you stand back and you say that karma will get them, karma will get you too, because you wish them no well. So we implement compassion.
Yes.
Not only for others, we'll always do it for others. We'll give them a little bit. Give yourself a little bit more.
Yes.
Always love yourself a little bit more than you love the next one. And it is an ever-evolving process. Even if some days all I can say is I love you, Rachel. Even if some days that's all. I love you, Rachel. And there's always a universal thing that just comes into alignment with that love. When you say smile, my smile, your smile will make you smile a little bit harder. When you're walking down the sidewalk and we know that it's cold sometimes, and you just smile at somebody. Just smiling at me now, making me smile harder. See? And sometimes if we smile and we're having a bad day, you'll laugh at yourself because you're like, why are you smiling? But you're laughing. So it's breaking up everything that is going on the inside. So the thing that I leave and that I take the most is it's our inner dialogue. It's always about what we think. See, I got this on my hand, the eye of Ra, but it is I am the incarnation of creation, because it goes with the Ankh, which is life, which is a mere reflection of me as a woman, because I have the womb and I bear the life. But we all are. We are all creators with many gifts and talents vested within inside us. And the more that you create, the less that you destroy. It's all about what you think in your mind internally. Thank you.
I saw that. You are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, thank you. Wow.
And the Lord says, I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten.
And this is so.
Hallelujah.
Wow. Thank you for that, sis. Thank you. Wow. So you never know what somebody is going through and the lesson that they've learned from the process. So thank you so much for sharing that, sis. Do we have one more person in, or anyone in the group that has questions for the speakers? We do have an awesome sister here. Let me see. Do you have a message for us, Sister Idris?
Yeah, she does. Just be yourself.
Sister Idris is beautiful. Beautiful woman, beautiful spirit. Stars in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So I will let you share real quick what Stars in the Neighborhood is, and feel free to, give some advice, give some words of encouragement to us.
Just be yourself.
Okay, this is what I just said. Because right now, I didn't know where I'm sitting here right now that I was going to be a TV host a couple years back. I was a regular caterer in my neighborhood. I didn't know that I was going to be working with stars. I'm talking about really stars. Greg Porter. I'm talking about Wilson. He's an R&B artist. These are stars I work with. I didn't know I was going to be this plain Jane, and I retired when I was 50 years old. That's 20 years ago. I was 70 years old.
Wow.
I didn't know I was going to discover her handsome husband. I didn't know I was going to discover him. He was the first star drummer on my show. I started in Harlem, the show. I didn't know where it was going to go. I was scared to death when I first did that show. I really was. And how I met this beautiful lady here. I came to Brooklyn, and I met her, and I said to myself, oh, I met another family, her and her husband. And I don't try to be something I'm not. You see me with my walker, everybody says, oh, you don't look like a movie star. I said, you don't have to look like a movie star. Everybody is somebody in this world as stars. Think of yourself as a star, okay? Because you have stars quality. You don't have to be in Hollywood. You don't have to be mingling with party people who's in the big time. Just be you. You have something to offer. This young lady here, I am so proud of her. I haven't seen her in a lot of years, okay? I came tonight because I felt so proud for coming to Brooklyn to show black women are somebody. They got something to offer. They're not just black. They somebody. They different colors. You're rainbows. You're rainbows. You're rainbows. You are somebody that somebody will look at. You gleaming. Show that. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Okay? Like this young lady said, she came from big corporate. She gave that up because she feels so good about herself. She don't care about material things. Material things don't last that long. It's you. It's you. And they're going to remember you for the rest of their life. Okay? You are a legend. Every one of you. Okay? We're going to be talked about 100 years from now. We're going to be, the future generation after generation will be talking about it. So be proud of yourself.
Well, you know what? Yes, brother. You are going to share?
Yeah, I just want to share, my story on, why I became an entrepreneur. I was born and raised in Queens, and both my parents worked. They worked for the city, so they worked for the MTA, and they worked overtime and overtime. So, they didn't have time to take care of me and my sister. So he sent me and my sister to, my grandmother's house right over in Brownsville, Brooklyn. And, when I was a baby, I cried. I didn't want to leave my parents. So, and I didn't want to stay with my grandmother. I love my grandmother. She was very strict. And I seen my grandfather. He worked for the city and he retired. Then right after he retired, he died. And after my father retired, he died. So I seen the path that was paved for me. And later on, I got a job working for the city. And, I was making about $70,000 with overtime and everything like that. So it was pretty decent. But I saw what happened to my grandfather, and I saw what happened to my father. And then, when I was working for the city and I was doing a lot of overtime and didn't see my kids. And I had resentment towards my father and my mother, and I didn't know why. But I knew why. It was because they didn't have time for me and my sister. And I knew now I know they did, the best they can with what they had. Now I know that. But as a kid, I didn't know that. As a teenager, I didn't know that. So I was mad, I was angry, and I rebelled constantly. So when I became conscious and aware and I started, learning the lessons, I said, I got to do something else. Because when I was working for the city, my kids were staying with my mother. So I didn't want my kids to have the same resentment they had towards me that I had towards my parents. So I said, you know what, I'm going to learn a skill. And I'm going to learn to do something. And, that's why I created, ancient oil jewelry. And it wasn't overnight. And I was doing it while I was working at my job, coming home late nights. I finally quit. I quit, a good job with benefits. And now I make double and triple that.
Woo, yeah.
All praise to God.
That's my story. And I think for all business owners, I think the key, and what I learned through my success, as a business owner, your first priority is marketing and advertising.
Facts.
That's who you are before you do anything else. And understanding women. Because they control the culture.
Yeah.
My father always told me, it was an old African proverb, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. So a man leads, but she controls the direction you go. And if you understand that, you understand advertising. You know.
That was free.
And so that's why on all advertisements you see women constantly, because they control the culture not only through their sexuality but through their sensuality, which is their gentle, soft suggestibility through submission. And a lot of women and men don't like the word submit, but there's power in submitting to your partner, or someone has your best interest in hand. You know, and women submit to societal standards every day. Wear makeup, wear high heels. But submitting to a man has a lot of power. Because men, we gotta submit too. We submit to women's emotions, and we submit to their emotional needs, as we should, and they submit to our physical needs. You know, we gotta meet each other on the level we understand. You know, and that's important in understanding relationships, and you know, definitely helped me in my marriage and understanding my wife and understanding her needs, and I call it the 3 P's. It's provide, protect, and penetrate. And as long as I give her that, then she speaks power into me, and I can do it. I can do anything I want because she speaks power into me. And you know, men, we usually rule by or build with force and order. But a woman, her power is in her tongue. And that's her sword. Her sword is her tongue. And she could cut down anything a man builds with that power. So, as long as she speaks power into me, it gives me the strength to do what I need to do. Because she is, she's everything. She's everything, and she gives me standards. And I, as a man, my competitive nature is to meet those standards. And so as long as she keeps giving me standards, I'm going to continue to achieve those. Because that's my nature. I love to compete. And I'm going to constantly compete for her love as long as she speaks power into me.
Thank you, brother, for sharing yourself. I wanted to ask you one question. When you come to So we have a brother here, so I wanted to ask your brother to spoke. So brother, what ways do you empower your woman? Well, can you give us at least one way? How do you empower your woman?
By being vulnerable, you know, because sometimes as a man, your ego can get in the way. And so by submitting my ego and being vulnerable, you create a space for her to be vulnerable and release her emotions. Because a woman with trapped emotions is destructive.
What? No, that's true.
A woman with
Trapped emotions is destructive. So I think that's one way why I put my ego to the side and allow myself to be vulnerable. And, you know, by protecting and providing for her, you know, and take care of the household, you know, paying the bills and everything like that. And I protect the kingdom, and she then has a space to nurture and take care of my children.
And how do you as the man protect the kingdom? Like maybe give us one or two ways. How do y'all do that? How do y'all protect the kingdom?
By providing and protecting. You know, a woman, she's soft and gentle. You know, she doesn't have, innately, she doesn't have the strength, the physical strength a man has. So when she goes out into the world, she's vulnerable. So all she wants to do is sometimes is just feel protected and safe. And so if I could provide that for her by any means, monetarily or just let her know that I love her unconditionally,
That's a big thing.
that, you know, I think that creates a space for her. You know, as long as I take care of her, then she'll take care of my kids. You know? And I think that's my first responsibility, to take care of her. Her first responsibility is to take care of the kids. I know she has to feed and protect the children and nurture the children first. That's her first and primary job. You know, I'm always there, I'm her backup. You know what I'm saying? My first job is to take care of her and make sure she pays the bills. She's my backup. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, she don't help me pay the bills sometimes when I need help, or I don't help her take care of the kids sometimes when she needs help. But I know what I need to do as a man, and she knows what she needs to do as a woman. And we submit to each other. And, you know, and that's what it is, you know. Is as long as you know your position in life and position in nature, you know, and not go against nature, you know, the path is going to be laid out for you. You know what I'm saying? And in any direction you want to go.
Yeah. Thank you. I love that. Ladies, y'all good with that? That's good. And it's interesting when we think about with women, when we decide that we want to have a baby, how when we make that choice, we have a place for the baby to be, to live for the next 9 months. We have the placenta for the transport of the nutrients from the baby, the food to the baby. We even, when the baby comes out, we even have a place for the baby to feed and all the nutrients and antibodies that come with the breast milk. All we need is some great support. That's it. We have everything. We're willing to go through the changes, the hormones, the body change, all the different things that we go through as when we're pregnant. All we need the man, one of the main things that we need that man to do is be a support to us and create the environment for us to thrive and our baby to thrive. So this is something that I want men to keep in mind and realizing also in women that we have everything that we need inside of us to succeed, to provide for ourselves and our children. Our main thing that we have to focus on is who we choose to connect with us, who we choose to be the right partner for our life and for our child. That's it. Because we already have everything. We already have everything we need. And it's really interesting because I had a dream, and the dream was like a spiritual woman telling me, you have everything you need, everything. And I wanted to ask a couple of questions, but she was like, you have everything. Okay? And this is just a reminder as women, like if our natural body, when we make up our mind to have a baby, has all of this, all we have to do is done. And we have the space, the food, the nutrients, and the baby's from what it looks like to the baby growing to a human being. And we're pushing this from, do you know what? Okay, we're not going to get deep. But what it looks like, when you look, you're like, how does child get out of here? And we're our body's able to do that. And not only that, like the hormones, when we feed our baby, there's the hormones that release, the love hormones that comes, that bonding. It's amazing how the body is. So it's a reminder as when you have your woman in your life, just as a reminder that my job is to create a space and environment for her to thrive and the child to thrive. And women, when we make the decision with our men, whether you choose to meet somebody new or not, whatever, some of y'all single and ready to, ready for your man. think about it and say, you know what? Is he going to create the right environment for me and my child to thrive? Because I don't want to be walking around depressed.
Come on.
I don't want to be walking around sad and figuring out, oh my God, am I going to be all right? You know, do we need this and that? I love what the brother said. Here to provide and create a safe space. You already know what to do. Listen, I need to carry you and bring you with us. Walk around and talk to the brothers. Because that's what we need. And I'm sure all the brothers here that we have in this room already know that. And thank you for... Let me not get started with these. Thank you for the support of these wonderful men and my husband and all these wonderful men and sisters up here. Ladies, real quick. Okay, so
I'm like so moved right now between what my sister over here said and how we are such an awesome people, and they will. We're at a time right now. We're at a very serious time. Because the world, I mean, next year, things are going to may look a lot different. We don't even know if this city will be here next year. We're in an emergency time that I can't even go into right now. It's not my job to go into it right now. But what I want to say is, because you suffered, I really wish you were on the mic the whole time, because this needs to be sent out all over. I'm going to do this. But because you suffered, I mean, I'm like in tears right now, but I can't let them flow because I got to say something. Because you suffered, you saw for yourself that you did not want to relive with your grandfather. That took a lot of courage for you to leave your job, your high-paying job. It took a lot of courage. I have to honor you for that. I have to honor you for that, because not many men are doing that. We have, as a people, we have been so influenced by materialism and money that we have left our spirits and our love. We have sacrificed it because you loved your wife so powerfully. I will always remember: provide, protect, and then you can penetrate. Don't get it twisted. That's extremely important, because the man, see, women are suffering because we have not felt the love of the man strong enough. My father raised me for 7 years, and I was never abused. And I know my father loved me. I adore men to a flaw. I've adored y'all too much to a flaw. But my point is, there's an author, his name is Ron Seaborn, and he said the problem with women is men. Hold the mic for me. So, the men are the key, and we are the lock. The man goes in, whichever way that key turns, we go with it, because we are emotional like that. But if a woman doesn't feel loved enough, it's very hard for her to submit. Y'all have the power to love us into submission. Y'all have that power to love us into submission. Wow. When we feel that love and we're protected, and you sacrifice money for love, and you communicate and show your vulnerability, that's a transformation right there into yourself. I thank you for that. You've given us a powerful gift.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We also need to share this with our men. Thank you for that. So I want a volunteer who can tell us how can the men, somebody can we have one woman that can share to the men. How can you, from our perspective, and I love what you just said, because I think, matter of fact, I think you just, right. You know what? I ain't going. I'm not going past that. You just said it. We did pray before we came up. Yeah, exactly. You just laid out. You already said it. I want to see that. Me, Ebby, you broke that. Thank you. She broke with the key thing. Okay.
That's Rod Seaborn. He wrote a book. The problem with women is men. Ron Seaborn. That's not.
I don't even know if I'm gonna touch after what you just
Go
said.
ahead.
That was
Go
no.
ahead. Take it to the next level. Go ahead.
You just.
No, you got it. Oh, you're a doula. You're a doula. You didn't say that.
I didn't
You're a
get a chance to
doula.
tell. Yes.
And so you understand what women, you understand our nature, you understand the birthing process and what we need as women and what the mother needs. And what the father has to understand that you do not have to compete with the child. We know our role. You said it, my brother. What is your name? We got to put you on the map. You got to pull over by your jewelry. What? You about to be a millionaire, yo. You about to be a, we don't want nobody else's jewelry but yours.
Make sure you give us your cards today. Oh, we have a question?
This is my father. Yeah.
Greetings. From Trinidad in the house. Go ahead.
Good evening to each and every one of us. Good evening. My name is Alexander. I'm Glenn Alexander's father. I'm a minister of the gospel. And when people speak, they speak by utterance. I believe that. The brother over there on my left, he spoke very eloquently of what a man is to a woman and what a woman should be to a man. In the book of Ecclesiastes, we read where when a man finds a woman,
Finds a good
meaning
thing.
wife, he finds a good thing. All the illustration that the brother brought out there is what is quoted by one of the greatest of all theocrats. We have a wisdom teacher with a Solomon. You see, a man is the head, as he said, but you have to have your head on something. If you have your head on nothing, you lose it. I was invited here by my son, and I really didn't know what it was. But when I came, I saw what it was, and I immediately became part of what it is. You know, a woman is the integral part of a man. Why I say this is because it is written that God took from the man to create the woman. So she is an integral part, meaning flesh, blood, bone, tissues, and everything of a man. The difference between them is only gender in most cases. I know women who do stuff like men. You know, they throw pickaxe, shovel, drill, anything, cut down trees, do everything that a man does. We as men have to look at our female counterpart as a very essential part of who we are. Remembering first of all that we have mothers. And our mothers, they are the one that generate what characteristic that you may evolve or think from it. When a man is growing up, a young boy is growing up, he looks at how mommy treats daddy. And he would like to have his wife treat him as how mommy treats daddy. So too does the sister, the girl. She looks at how daddy treats mommy. Oh, I would like my husband to treat me as how daddy treats mommy. And that is on the positive side, of course. So there's no piece, part, portion of puzzle. It's one. It is one with two parts to make it a whole. Two equal parts to make it a whole. Wives, according to Paul, obey your husbands. Husbands, treat your wives as you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, when a man treats a woman unfairly, regardless of what the circumstances are, he is subsequently treating himself the same way, inadvertently maybe, but he's doing the same thing to himself. Because that's part of you. And what you are doing here is what reflects here. Scripture declares that a man should never, ever, ever strike his wife. No way, Jose. No time, for whatever reason. Scripture declares also that a man should not be a brawler. He should not be abusive in any way. Most of all, many people don't know that being abusive, mouth, bad mouthing, oral, that's bad. This is your wife. This is part of you. This is your children's mother. This is the future generation that both of you are creating. So how come can you physically and verbally abuse your generation of the future? And the sister said a while ago, a woman decides to have a child. She will, not sure, but she will have in her mind who the father would be. The kind of person that she would like a son. Well, most women, they like to have a son. Men too. They love to have a son. You know? They would want to know that when that boy grows up, he'll be like his father. Right? He'll emanate his father in all that he does. He'll be a good man. He'll be a prominent man in society, regardless of what it is, but he will be great. So that is why we as fathers and big brothers, to some extent, because sometimes, you know, the father goes away, sometimes permanently, and you are the big brother, you have to pick up the slack. You have to be daddy. Right now, I am daddy. My mother is passed, father is passed, I'm the eldest of 12 children, whatever.
Wow.
And all my brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, children, grand and great-grand, they look to me. I have to walk a straight line. Otherwise, I saw Grandpa did that. Or I saw Uncle Henry did that. Or I saw Daddy do that. So we have to be very, very careful when you start getting up here. So when you get up here, that's when you have to pull up your socks and tighten up your boots and everything. Because guess what? See those little ones coming up there? They are looking you right in the eye. They are looking you down your throat. They are looking at every step you make. And they will emulate you. So we have to be careful. Mothers, I like to call female mothers because they are born potentially mothers. Everyone is born potentially a mother, not a wife. You ain't bound to be, but you will be or could be a mother. So potentially you are a mother. We also, and you also have to have that presentiment of mind to walk in the right step. I like the testimony that the sister gave here. You have to know where you want to go. To get anywhere, you must start from where you are. The longest journey begins with the first step. He who is master of his mind is master of his destiny. You know, you plan in your mind. I remember as a little boy, your grandmother or your uncle, what do you want to be when you grow up? You have to have an answer. You may change as the years go on. Well, I want to be a policeman. But then you come and say, no, I want to be a sailor on the street. Then you might, no, I want to be a school teacher. The mind, the human mind is non-conformist. You can always change it, but you remain with a mind. You know?
What's the most important thing that you can give us as women to do? What homework can you give us? Because I think we're getting close to our section. We're going to change sections now. For
Okay.
Give
What
us
I
the
learned to
final
be
word.
a prop. You cannot walk on one leg unless you have a prop. And by that I mean that you will be always there. That whenever you are needed in that capacity as a wife or a mother or a good friend, a husband and wife supposed to be good friends, the best of friends in the world. And when you have those three things, you will have a good family. And if it continue in that concept, you'll have a very good community. Thank you.
And we're just going to leave for two more. We have Sister Nefera. She's going to be coming up. Dynamic sister, awesome, powerful sister. She's an herbalist as well. And Sister Nefera, due to time, if you don't mind sharing at least one way that we can empower ourselves as women and share what you do and what you offer the community. And is Sister Phoenix here? She's here? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Sister Phoenix. I want you to come through and share what you do and one way that we can empower ourselves in the community. And then I'm going to see if we have extra space, because what I wanted us to do today was actually speak some affirmations by the time we leave out of here, to speak over our life what we want. And also release some things that maybe has been holding us back. So that's how I wanted to end this today. And we have the beautiful vendors here. Go to the tables, see what they have. Awesome products and services here. So feel free to take time and enjoy the day. So Sister Nefera, feel free to share with us one way that we can empower ourselves and what you do in the community, her and her husband.
Okay, I'm gonna try to see. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right. This makes me even more uncomfortable. Okay. So I'm just gonna pretend like we in my living room. Okay. And I'm talking to my family that I love and adore. And my name is Neferis and Hetep. Brooklyn. When I was 18 years old with a duffel bag and $20 in my pocket. So it's been a journey, and along this journey, I've had the privilege to sit at the feet of some wonderful master teachers. I know many of you may be familiar with Dr. Sebi. Yes. Okay, beloved Dr. Sebi, and I still speak about him in the present tense. I had the pleasure to work with his wife for a number of years, Ma'a, and helped to reestablish the Brooklyn office of the Fig Tree here, and learn things like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, and I say it's that comfort, it's that Mother Nature that just resonates, and I'm just so very thankful for it. And I learned about my connection to plants, and when I make compounds, they tell me what to do with them. They tell me, like, of course, I do research, but they tell me, listen, put me with that. And I'm like, are you kidding? And they're like, nah, let me go over there. We're going to have a party, So I make herbal compounds. I make things like sea moss compounds. Everybody's familiar with sea moss. Yes? A little bit? And basically, from the current lifestyles that we're living in the inner cities, we're not receiving naturally the nutrients that we would from our organic indigenous diets. We've been taking away land. So helping to bring those nutrients and bring those elements back into our homes and into our lives. So I gather things from all over the world that help to fortify us in this day and time. We're like teratogens. It's one of my favorite words. I don't know if you know the word teratogens. Teratogens is a Greek word that comes down to little demons. And what teratogens is, you know about teratogens. Radiation, the radiation that comes from power lines, from cell phones, chemicals in the water, anything like this, they call little demons. That's what teratogens means. And those teratogens can affect the development of a fetus. And the thing with teratogens, they say that they can't prove it. They can't prove the effect of having liquor stores in your community, of having power lines over top of your houses, of having airplanes bringing chemtrails over your communities. You know, long-term effects. We can't tell the long-term effects because what teratogens do is they diminish your ability to be great. That's simple. It's not what they call it, alcohol fetal syndrome. Everybody knows the signs and the symptoms of alcohol fetal syndrome. Everybody knows the devastating effects of alcohol fetal syndrome. But teratogens, it diminishes your ability to be great. It takes away that thing that makes you a shining star born into the universe. And it makes you dull and plain, and then you walk around and you're like, I'm not living to my full potential. So you have these, so CMOS, as powerful as it is for just giving you minerals, just getting, just being able to fortify you and give the nutrients that you need, and it makes your hair and your nails grow, and it makes your skin really nice, it also helps to protect you from these things that you don't even know that are there, that you don't even know that you're coming in contact with. You're a vegan, you eat organic, you drink alkaline water, but you also walk around. So that's my relationship with herbs, and I got there from wanting to heal myself. You understand? That's where the journey begins. That's why I love the story that Sabi always tells about how he was obese, he was going blind, he was impotent, he was a straight up and down, give me my steak and my potatoes, give me my plantains, give me all of that kind of stuff. And he was sick. And then him and my aunt, through their relationship and their regular trips to Mexico, and they started speaking to the Bushmen. They started to learn about the herbs. And they started from the journey of him wanting to heal himself. And from there, he did the work. So the one thing that I have to talk about when it comes down to empowering people, and I infuse into them, because I did not have an easy life, right? We've had conversations before about the struggles of being an orphan young black girl in America, and you got to make it through, especially in the inner city of Brooklyn. So it wasn't easy, but I said to myself when I was very young, no matter what I have to go through, I'm not going to let it take my heart.
Go ahead.
Let me keep this if I don't have anything else. And thankfully, I made it through with a whole bunch of other stuff, too. But the gift of strength to turn the mirror on yourself. And I think that gift is more important than any degree somebody that they can get. Anything that somebody else can give you is, if you can deal with you, yes. If you can deal with you can deal with anything. Because you are your greatest competitor. You are your greatest obstacle to get over, and your greatest gift to receive. Being able to turn that mirror on yourself and being able to say, do I like this? Do I like me? How can I improve me? And not even just about beating yourself up about what I can improve and what's not good, but being able to turn that mirror on yourself and being like, I love me. I am in love with me. I like this thing here. So despite my travels and my trials, and I give this to my niece. I don't have a birth child yet, but I have my niece who I fortify. I give that girl lessons, and I tell her, if nothing else, you have to be able to love you at the end of the day. And that is the greatest relationship. That is more important than anything. And don't go looking for anybody else before you deal with and fall in love with you. I mean, I've left her in my house for weeks. I said, I'm leaving. And she had no car at the time. She wasn't going nowhere. She was in a different place. None of her friends were around. you know, and she had to deal with her and not being afraid to do that. So I believe that that's the cornerstone to any relationship. When I'm dealing with my sisters, and I love my sisters like I love myself, but I know the difference between when I'm in a relationship with a sister who has done the work of getting into a relationship with herself versus a sister who has not done that work and is chaotic. It's yes. I felt that you sisters, and we do so much because we need each other. We can't escape how much each other. Because like, listen, that last girl, she was a doozy. I don't want no more sisters. We can't. We can't. We it's just innately in us that we need each other. Absolutely. You know, I need my sisters. I'm not afraid to say that. You know, and I'm not afraid to be honest with my sisters and to be vulnerable with my sisters. And in any relationship, I feel like that's the strength of us women in being able to be vulnerable. The brother, what's your name?
Jay.
Jay?
Yeah, it's from Jay.
The good brother Jay. We have good things to say. He said something to this woman and how she's vulnerable and her being safe. And I'll tell you that one of the gifts that my husband gives me is the ability to be vulnerable. I'm allowed to be a girl.
Nice.
Okay? I don't have to fight. I don't have to roll up on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many sisters, y'all walk around Brooklyn, you walk around New York City all the time. How many sisters do you hear that feel like they gotta, yo, what's up? I'm like, girl. Where's your femininity? There's strength in that. Please don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of your girl. I'm loving this, all of it, just from the back of the house. Don't be afraid of your femininity. Feel vulnerable. Like, your vulnerability is not a weakness; it's a strength. With my vulnerability. So, as far as being empowered, the first thing that I say is, of course, don't be afraid of your light and your on the inside, and get into that. You can fortify that. There's nothing that you can't come across and deal with, and you'll be a better mother. You'll be a better sister. You'll be a better wife. You'll be a better cashier. You'll be a better teacher. You'll be a better person. You won't be angry. You won't be upset. You won't feel like you're lacking. You won't be afraid. So first and foremost, your relationship with yourself, and knowing that you have to. If you're going to have a healthy relationship with anything, you have to do that first. Do that first and get strong, and know that there's nothing that you cannot do. That there's nothing that that comes across you handling, and that you can evolve. It doesn't matter if it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. It doesn't matter if you felt like, you caught the bad end of the stick. It's all about the evolution. It's all about the lesson that you're learning from the situation. And if you can take that, then it's always going to matter the outcome. So those are just some of the things that I've used on my trial to keep me going. I'm going to be okay. I can get through this. Not been afraid to call on the help of my ancestors and on the help of strangers. I've gotten so much love from people that I don't even know. I'm not. They told me I couldn't play spades with them until I learned how to shuffle. I'm like 13 years old. I just don't know how to shuffle. But at the same time, they're not telling me that they're going to teach me how to shuffle. They just told me I can't play until I learn how to shuffle. I'm in the laundromat one day with my grandmother, and I seen this lady. I said, "Excuse miss, do you know how to shuffle?" She said, "Yes." I had a deck of cards with me. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just messing with it. I said, "Can you show me? Can you show me how to shuffle?" Showed me how to shuffle. I went back to that house. I'm ready to play now. They ain't never been able to beat me since then. I'm a good spades player. So I'm bold in my journey because, damn it, I'm here.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Okay? I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. I am, for all intents and purposes, titles. I deal with herbs. I'm an herbalist. I'm good at it. Y'all gonna taste some stuff later too. I got some things for you. So that's what I do. My husband and I, we also do a lot of talks. We do a lot of talks because this healing that we need to go through as a community, as a planetary family, it requires them talks for us to get on the same page. It requires for us to put some things out on the table, to be vulnerable, to be transparent, you know, and to have tough conversations that not everybody's willing to have right now, because we want to grow and we want to be well and we want to be okay. So we do a radio broadcast, internet radio broadcast called Revisionist Radio, where basically you take a situation and you look at it again, now with an awakened mind, or a third eye, as they say. So we do that, and we also have an apparel company that we represent here that is upstairs that you'll see as well. Be a Dynasty is a way for you to represent your culture in a fun. We love wearing the dashikis. I had this bad dashiki dress on last time I came in here. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But sometimes we also want to wear something that is a little bit more current and has a little bit more style. Thank you. But I am in love with every single one of you, because every single one of you is a reflection of me. I am not separate. I am not different. I am the person that you look at when you look in the mirror. And those are my gifts that I had to give, and I can't wait to see what I receive from you all.
Okay, I know we have a time issue, so I'm going to try to be brief. My name is Phoenix Love. I'm a holistic health consultant, a licensed mental health professional, and a wellness consultant. I work with individuals as well as organizations, churches, entrepreneurs, and do workshops and talks as well, all about holistic health and spreading mental health awareness. I was just listening to this powerful sister right here, and my sister over here with her amazing story and testimony, the brothers that spoke. And I'm going to try to tie this up in one nice little neat little bow.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good.
Okay? At the end of the day, it all starts with our mind and our mindset. If our mind is in a bind, nothing is working. So this is why I do the work that I do, because at the end of the day, a lot of us have went through many different types of challenges in our life, whether it's financial, whether it's traumatic issues like the sisters share. And a lot of us are walking around and we're hurting and we're in pain. Okay, and that's the real talk.
Yes.
So what I do, I have a confrontational approach almost. Even though I am much like you, I'm an intuitive empath. I'm an introspective person. That's part of my gifts as a healer. However, when I do the work with individuals, as well as when I work with groups, I do use a confrontational approach, meaning that we have to reveal to heal. And at the end of the day, a lot of us are in denial about a lot of the pain that we have experienced in our past, and we are not willing and ready to confront it, because of those are tough conversations that some are not ready to hear. So I was listening, and I hear, and it's a lot of beautiful words that have been spoken, motivational, empowering, and that's what we all hear from. But then there's faith without works is dead. You have to do the work. So my thing is reveal, heal, so you can live on purpose. I'm the soul healer. That's my little, subtitle nickname that I do in my business, because the soul encompasses the mind, mind, body, soul, spirit. It all has to work together. We are one being, right? One. This is all together. The head don't go one direction, the leg go another direction. This goes everywhere you go, right? So like they say, wherever you are, wherever you go, that's where you are, right? So you're bringing everything, all that you have experienced. If you've been on this life, I'm in my 40s. I've been in this world for 4 decades, right? So guess what? We were talking about relationships and how men and women are supposed to deal with each other. You are bringing that to the relationship. Whatever you have went through, if it's trauma, if it's relationship issues, if it's parent issues, if you've been in foster care, if you've been abused, domestic violence, you're bringing that in. So my message is you have to do your healing. You have to rip off the mask and you have to do the work. That's the key. And that you have to have those real conversations in order for the work to happen. So what I do is I partner with people that are ready. They're ready to make that step, because really before you can do any type of coaching on trying to, figure out if you want to go to a new job or anything, if you have all of this stuff in your head and in your mind that has not been healed and it has not been processed, then you're not able to move to that next level. And a lot of us are stuck because of things that have happened in our past, or even things that have happened in our present. I think the brother talked about something about trapped emotions. It causes destruction in a woman. Trapped emotions or unhealed emotions causes destruction in man or women. And we see it every day out there, right? In our communities, on the news, in our administration, right? This is all unhealed emotions. This is all unchecked mental health problems. And we have to start. I just did a talk on Wednesday night out in Long Island where I live, and it was a phenomenal community event. The questions, parents came out, because a lot of parents are dealing with children that have mental health issues. They're getting the calls from school, acting out. We have to start really dealing with these issues. We have to deal with it in our places of worship. We have to deal with it in our schools. We have to partner. We have to collaborate. So that's what I'm all about. And I'm also a certified Reiki or Reiki healer, which is energy healing. I heard a lot of talk about energy. I think the brother talked about it. Sister talked about it. Energy is key, because that's what we're made up of. This is why you can sit next to a sister or brother like we met upstairs, and the energy was there. Why? Because we're both intuitive empaths.
She came upstairs. She came into my room. I said, "Ooh, girl."
Yes, she.
The
That's
energy
the
you
energy
got radiating from you. And then she told me, well, one of the things I do was, okay, now I understand. I said, you're going to touch up on me later.
So a big part of what I do, and why, again, all of this, from me being a mental health professional, from me being a Reiki practitioner, vibrational sound healing, that called me.
It does.
It says, right? It says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men.
Yes.
And it has. Because the doors have been opening left and right since I've walked into my purpose. I, too, was in corporate America, sister. For 10 years. Marketing executive, advertising, big money, this and that. My husband's right there. He can tell you. And next thing I know, I'm a licensed social worker. What happened? They was like, how you go from that? Your salary's cut in half. But when you're called, you have to do it. And I think the brother talked about it, walked away from the money, but then guess what? You start to make, it is not even about the money. It's about our people. It's about touching each other. We are a reflection of each other, right? When I look at you, I see me, right? When I look at you, I see me. And that's how we have to raising those vibrations, raising the frequencies. We have to remain, especially as women, on our seat of power, because we are the mothers of the earth, like the brother said. Okay, and this is our time, Lady Prima, because I come from the University of Queen Afua as well. I am a sacred woman. So therefore, we must know that we are here at this time. This is a divine appointment for everybody in this room.
That's right.
So if you didn't have your pen and paper out, I hope you are registering everything, and now you're taking it to the next level. What's my action plan? Each one of us have something that God has called us to do. We are purposed and created to do.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to be upstairs. And like I said, today I got a special offer. My book is only $10 today. It's normally $20, $10, and you get a free mini session. You can't beat that. My book is about $50. It's a quick read. I'm on Amazon. I have a ton of wonderful reviews about the book. Men love my book. They are my number one customer. And basically because it's broken down into 4 areas: spirituality, health, I'm drawing a blank now. Emotions, exactly. Personal development and relationships. Everything that we've been talking about. Okay, so please, I hope to see you. It's called If I Should Die Before I Wake, Your Journey to Awakening Your Calling. Because it's all about walking in your divine purpose. Thank you. Blessings.